There, good evening to you. You're watching Evening News Bulletin at 6 p.m. My name is Anastasia Baddoo, and it's the Heritage Month where we are reminding us all of our identity and what makes us Ghanaians. We must be proud of who we are, where we are from, and what identifies us. The food we eat, the clothes we wear shows where we are from. Culture is very, very identical, and in this month, we are preaching that word to you. Let's feel Ghana, see Ghana, and tour Ghana. These are top stories for tonight. After the University Teachers Association called off their interim strike action, some campuses are still empty. We paid a visit to the University of Development Studies in Tamale, and the situation was no different. Now, Dr. Lawrence Tete has advised Ghanaian students in Ukraine to desist from using the ongoing Ukraine-Russia crisis as means to enter Europe. Now, on religious front today, Wednesday, 2nd March 2022, marks this year's Ash Wednesday, a very significant day in the lives of Christians as the period of Lent approaches. And in business, COPEC is projecting that fuel prices may surge up to 9 cedis per litre before the end of this month. Don't forget we are streaming live on Facebook Adoa TV Ghana, YouTube Adoa TV GH. The details of these and some more. Also be looking at some stories from Parliament, sports and entertainment in this bulletin. I am Anastasia Baddoo. Now to the first story. Each year, Ash Wednesday marks the beginning of Lent, and this year Christians are urged to use the season to reflect and rededicate their lives to God. Ash Wednesday also reminds us that God created man out of the dust of the earth, and therefore the need for us to humble ourselves before God and others. The Suffragan Bishop of Accra, Right Reverend Dr. George Kutenikwe, made the call today at this year's Mass for Ash Wednesday with the blessing and imposition of ashes at the Cathedral Church of the Most Holy Trinity right here on the High Street in Accra.
Believers in Christ around the world observe these days as special days of prayers, acts of charity and mortifications. On Ash Wednesday, priests apply ash on the forehead of each person coming to the church, saying, and I quote, "Thou art dust, and unto dust thou shalt return," unquote, reminding the people that while observing the precedents of the season, they must focus on the spirit of the season rather than external performances and appearance. During Lent, the faithful are also called on to practice more good deeds, such as almsgiving, and to be particularly close to the needy and suffering. I joined the Cathedral Church of the Most Holy Trinity to mark this year's celebration. Congregants were admonished to go through the period in secret. The Anglican Suffragan Bishop of Accra and the Dean of the Cathedral Church, Right Reverend George Nikwe, spoke to the news team.
Is Ash Wednesday, the day that we begin 40 days fast as Anglicans and as Christians before the Lord. We are beginning with the imposition of ashes because we are reminding ourselves that we are formed out of ashes. We are formed out of dust. And when we impose the ashes upon our foreheads in the sign of the cross, which represents the cross of Christ, we normally say, you are dust, and into dust you return. It means that during this period, we are expected to be very humble before the Lord. And so there should not be things flamboyant, etc. So for instance, when you look into the church during this period, we don't put flowers into the church. In fact, we are not even supposed to play the organ, anything and dance, anything that will make us humble ourselves and come quietly before the Lord and pray for the forgiveness of our sins. That is what we're going to do during this period. The Lenten period is a period of prayer. And so if you ask about focus, the main focus is to pray regarding the COVID and the way the COVID is actually destroying the lives of people. We want to pray that we have a normal life very soon. And so that is the main focus. And again, the main focus within any Lent is also to grow spiritually. And so we have lots of services going to take place within the Lenten period. Every afternoon, there is a service. This evening, there will be evening song, etc. Things that will let people listen to the word of God and grow spiritually. So that is the main focus of the church as we go through this Lent.
And for those who are not able to go for their ashes this morning, service will be held this evening as well in the various Anglican churches. You can also visit the church and take your ashes. Moving away from that, the strike action staged by members of the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, to continue press home their demands to government for better salaries and better working conditions came to halt after endless stakeholder consultations with the National Labour Commission and the association. However, looks like this decision is not in bed with most of the members of the association, as polls held in various university campuses to cancel the strike has proven so. We paid a visit to the University of Development Studies in Tamale, and it looks like lectures are in full effect, but most of the students are yet to come to campus. This is a story found by Nuruddin Ibrahim, our Northern Regional correspondent.
A visit to the University of Development Studies Tamale by the news team revealed that school authorities have called off their strike and have ordered students to come back to campus for lectures. During the visit, few students were seen moving into lecture halls because of the late announcement in relation to the resumption of classes. Lecture halls and campus was virtually empty as compared to normal days. Some of the students who spoke to Adoa News appealed to government to adhere to the demand of UTAG.
If they don't adhere to what they are saying, they wouldn't also come to the lecture hall to lecture us. And for UDS like this, we ran the trimester program. So we started in November. Okay, we started in November and then we've come back to continue the trimester. So right now that they were on strike, when they were on strike, it was affecting we the continuing student because we are supposed to continue the trim. It's not that we are starting the trim. If you are starting the trim, it's not really a problem, but we continuing the trim is a big problem. And now that they told us to come to school, we are in school now. And even the new timetable they made, which means we have just 1 month to write exams. So by ending of this month, we'll be writing exams. So, and they're saying fourth, they are seeing whether they are going back on strike or will be in school. So if fourth, they go back on strike, which means it's going to affect we, the continuing student, because we are continuing the trimester. Other than other schools who are starting the trimester, we are continuing the trimester. So it's really affecting we the students. And some of us are from Accra to Tamale, which is a 12-hour drive. So if they cancel, if they go back to strike on the 4th, which is going to affect us, the money and all that. And now it's hard to come. It's hard for you to get money to even come to school.
Our appeal to the government is that the strike is affecting all the students. Me, for instance, like coming to stay on campus, you will spend all your money, your food stuff, and then lectures is not going on. You will have to just stay around, read a little thing about what you can read, and you know when lectures is not in session, you the students, you can't really learn much because the lectures also put some, I mean, some pressure on you so that you can do your best to learn. But when everything is like this, it affects your mind, your thinking. So even to take a book and read, though all the courses have been given to us, what you will learn, but when you take to learn, because of what is happening, you can't focus. And so we are appealing to the government that they should see to it that they will put things in order so that the lecturers will be able to come back to class.
Sharing their plight to the Adoa News, they say their major concern is how to catch up with the academic calendar if the strike is fully called off.
To be honest, we are suffering. We the students are suffering.
Do we still have?
They told us to come to school. When we come, they'll see what they can do. And because right now, even if they give us money, even if they send us money, on the 4th, if they tell us to go back home, that's the same money we are sending back home. And our parents are working, and even the money they are paying them is not enough. So if they don't do something about it, it's really going to affect us. We the students, when we go, we can't do anything. We can't work, we can't, because we don't have any certificate. And even if you do something, the monies they will pay you cannot even do anything right now. So yeah, that's basically it.
The Attorney General, Godfred Yobadame, has described as hypocritical and rescinding the petition by the National Democratic Congress to the Commonwealth Secretariat on alleged human rights abuse. According to him, this move by the largest opposition party is to run away from justice. He noted nothing would deter him in his quest to ensure an accountability to the people of Ghana. He stressed this undermines the sovereignty of Ghana.
My reaction is that I find it as a very hypocritical and misleading statement. Very hypocritical and misleading because clearly, for me, it's an attempt to run away from justice. All the government has sought to do is to ensure that the NDC and the acts of its officers are brought to book. And indeed, I will not be deterred at all in my quest to ensure that there's accountability to the people of Ghana. The cases that we have investigated and the actions that we have filed in court are all on account of solid evidence that we have unearthed through painstaking investigations. We do not just come to court on the spur of the moment or without any basis at all. It is as a result of thorough and painstaking investigations conducted by the government. Some of the investigations have actually gone on for about 5 or 6 years. And indeed, we are seeing the results of the actions. And therefore, I find it very hypocritical and misleading for the NDC or General Secretary to make such an allegation. And I'm not surprised. This is actually not the first time that the NDC or a person associated with the NDC has sought to find refuge in the international forum, especially when the person is being brought to book or accountability is being sought for the actions of that person.
International evangelist Dr. Lawrence Tete has made a passionate appeal to parents of Ghanaian Ukraine students to desist from using the Ukraine-Russian crisis as a means to enter Europe. According to him, some Ghanaian students aren't willing to return to their country due to the fact that they intend taking advantage of this situation to enter into Europe. He therefore cautioned their parents to advise them to rescind their decision as the immigration services there are very alert.
And then we are hearing so many things that are not right. A lot of people are taking advantage over the situation. They're escalating what the situation is supposed to be. They have to make sure that we do things right so that we can get our children to safety. For me, that is very, very important.
He made this appeal in person to an engagement between the Foreign Affairs Ministry and parents, relatives and guardians of the Ghanaian Ukraine students. Dr. Lawrence Tete lamented that this attitude of some students refusing to come back to Ghana is making the work of the Foreign Affairs Ministry difficult. Again, some students, he stated, are trying to put up the savior caliber instead of saving themselves first. He therefore urged the parents to advise them to be wise.
We have to be wise. We have to also know the timing in which we are. Most of the children have been unwise by trying to push other nationals as though they are Ghanaians. Ghana has a lot of goodwill in the diaspora, and especially in the Central European community. They have a lot of love and respect for Ghanaian citizens. And so as we speak now, Hungary is making sure that if you hold a Ghana passport, you can enter freely into Hungary without a visa. But what we are doing now is that we are allowing other nationals to infiltrate into that community, and we need to make sure that we do the right thing. And don't forget that under the circumstance, only a handful of people that will come to certain countries will be Ghanaians. So if we can put ourselves together properly, we can do the right thing and Ghanaians can be evacuated. Teach of the fact that Hungary is a Schengen country, so you want to stay over. Hungary is a police state. So if you get hidden for 72 hours, after 72 hours they will find you. And after the evacuation has taken place, if you've not been able to get yourself into the right environment, you have yourself to be blamed. So let us encourage our children for them to be wise, to be smart, and to take cue and to take direction.
The Minister for Foreign Affairs, Shelley Ayokobotri, further cautioned all those who would want to take advantage of this situation to enter into Europe to re-sign their decision, as the immigration services are very alert.
Our students should not at this point, it's about, survival. This is not the time to go associating with other nationals. In any case, the other nationals, they don't carry Ghanaian passports. It's only those who carry Ghanaian passports that we will bring back. If you don't have a passport, we will not bring you back, because it means that you probably have thrown your passport away or whatever, and we are not going to bring you back unless your parents can vouch, unless you yourself can show evidence that you are Ghanaian. This is where we have control and visas. And so we'll bring them back home if they so wish. Those who do not wish to come back home will be at some point on their own. Thank you.
Meanwhile, out of the 527 Ghanaian nationals who had crossed the Ukrainian border to other European countries, 17 students have saved.
NASCO Feeding Minds, a non-governmental organization located in the Solar Tuna Kalba district of the Savannah region on 1st March 2022, outdoored their 13th ICT center at Gindabwo, a community under the Solar Tuna Kalba district. The executive director of NASCO Feeding Minds, Mr. Benasco Seidunuhu, at the launch of the center said the facility was funded by NASCO Feeding Minds and its partners, from Barcelona, Spain, for the Gindabwo cluster of schools to enhance computer literacy amongst junior high school students.
NASCO Feeding Minds, a non-governmental organization in the Solar Tuna Kalba district of the Savannah region on 1st March 2022, outsold their 13th ICT center at Gindabwo, a community under the Solar Tuna district. Executive Director of NASCO Feeding Minds, Mr. Benasco Seidunuhu, speaking at the launch of the center, said the facility was founded by NASCO Feeding Minds and its partners from Barcelona, Spain, for Gindabwo classroom schools to enhance computer literacy amongst junior high school students. He said NASCO Feeding Minds, as an NGO, focuses on ICT literacy and over the years has built computer labs with satellite internet across the region.
We come here to launch our 13th ICT center in the Solar Tuna Kalba district. It is such a great delight that I wish to take this moment to remember a brother with whom we started discussions as far as this computer lab is concerned. I mean Abdulaziz, our brother, may God be pleased with him and his soul. It is always said that there are two ways to spread light. It's either you are the candle or you are the mirror that will reflect the light. Today here, NASCO Feeding Minds has taken it upon itself to enlighten our part of the world with ICT literacy education. It has been emphasized time and again that ICT literacy's relevance in this 21st century cannot be measured.
He added that NASCO Feeding Minds has taken into account some of the challenges faced by schools in the district and therefore has opened a subsidiary under the NGO called NASCO Tech, which seeks to train teachers in ICT, manage computer labs for maintenance, and also nurture and give scholarship to brilliant but needy students under the CRISCO program.
Forward into the 21st century, we've gone through 4 different industrial revolutions. Now we are in the digital technology era. But it is sad that unfortunately, Africa, and for that matter, Ghana, not forgetting the Soratuna Kalba district, has been left behind. It therefore becomes imperative for civil society organizations, individuals, NGOs like NASCO Feeding Minds to augment government efforts in providing for the well-being and the future of our children.
Representative of the Ghana Education Service for Sawatuna Kalba District, Mr. Berima Abbas, thanked NASCO Feeding Minds for their kind and generous gesture and assured the organization that measures will be put in place for the safeguard of the facility as well as to ensure that it reap its full benefits from the computer literacy program. In an interview with head teacher of Gindabo DA Primary School, he congratulated NASCO Feeding Minds for their timely donation because, according to the head teacher, every year the school partakes in BEC examination with computer questions but have little or no idea about computers.
In fact, it will be a very great difference because when we're not having computers, we teach abstract, but now it will be on a practical base. And the children, see is believing. Whatever they are doing, they'll catch and see it, and they'll believe whatever we are doing. And I feel that we are very grateful to National Feeding. We are very happy with whatever we have achieved today, and it will encourage the children in their ICT learning. We were doing it before. Quite a long time we used to source money to pay our light bill before this computers came. So I don't think this will be a great deal for us. It will be a very easy job so that we can do it very fast. Because everybody is eager to learn IT as we are in the 21st century.
Present at the ceremony were representatives of the district chief executive and Ghana Education Service, heads of departments, the assemblyman of Gindabo West, and partners of NASCO Feeding Minds.
News bulletin, there's more coming up shortly.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with RwandAir today. RwandAir, the safest airline in Africa.
RwandAir, fly the dream of Africa.
Back from the break to some parliamentary stories, and caretaker minister for Ministry of Gender, Women and Social Protection, Honorable Cecilia Benadapa, was in Parliament today to answer to some questions posed by members on the floor. The substantive minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, acting in the stead of embattled substantive minister for the Gender and Social Protection Ministry, Sarah Safo, presented to the House measures being taken by the ministry to ensure that social protection of witches in the Gambaga witch camp, adolescents out of school, and the implementation of the livelihood empowerment against poverty were in order.
The Speaker, the ministry is fully aware of the situation in the Upper East region and is implementing a 5-year strategic plan to address adolescent pregnancy in Ghana, and this was launched in 2018 to 2020. This is to remedy the situation. Also, the ministry, together with stakeholders, undertook the following initiatives to reduce the phenomenon. One, we formed parent advocacy groups and trained parents as advocates to support the sensitization drive on preventing adolescent pregnancies. We formed the Regional Child Protection Committee, which meets quarterly to deliberate on interventions by various stakeholders in preventing adolescent pregnancies. We engaged traditional leaders in the districts on how to create awareness on sexual and gender-based violence, including abstinence among adolescents to curb adolescent pregnancies. We trained queen mothers in mentoring adolescent girls on sexual and reproductive health rights, sex education, and abstinence, who serve, these queen mothers serve as mentors to the adolescent children. Adolescent youth, I should say. We also engaged the public through radio discussions on issues around adolescent pregnancy. We also embarked on school outreach programs to educate pupils and students on their sexual and reproductive health rights. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of how the ministry is supporting the Gambaga Witches Camp, the ministry has engaged traditional and opinion leaders to discuss issues around violence against women, gender stereotypes, attitudes and beliefs that condone violence. As part of the engagement, a communique was issued which drew the attention to the need to stop witchcraft accusations. This is barbaric, backward, and inhumane, and does not have a place in modernity. In addition, a team from the ministry, led by the then minister in the year 2020, also visited the camps in the northern part of Ghana, which include Gambaga Witches Camp in the East Mampusi district. She interacted with them and supplied them with mattresses, pillows, clothes, veils, slippers, foodstuff, among others. In addition to this, they were also given personal protective items such as nose masks and sanitizers. Again, the inmates of the camps were given 2 cycles of LEAP cash grant as emergency support and enrolled onto the LEAP program and the National Health Insurance Scheme as beneficiaries. Of Gender, Children and Social Protection, in collaboration with other stakeholders, specifically the Ghana Education Service, has undertaken specific interventions to ensure that all adolescents are fully empowered to prevent early and unplanned pregnancies. The ministry is currently carrying out the following. We formed parent advocacy groups and trained parents as advocates to support the sensitization drive on preventing adolescent pregnancies. We have formed these regional child protection committees, which meet quarterly to deliberate on interventions by various stakeholders. We've engaged 30 traditional leaders on how to create awareness on sexual and gender-based violence, including abstinence among adolescents. Trained queen mothers in mentoring adolescent girls on sexual and reproductive health rights. We've also engaged the public through radio discussions on issues around adolescent pregnancies. We've also embarked on schools outreach to make sure that we educate pupils and students on their sexual and reproductive health and rights. The Girls Education Unit of the Ghana Education Service has designed a policy document titled Guidelines for Prevention of Pregnancy Among School Girls and Facilitation of Re-Entry into Schools after Childbirth.
Of Parliament for Adansia Sokwa Kabina Tahir Hamod has expressed concern about a recent statement made by Professor Tuguba, who had warned of a coup if issues are not set right in the current administration. According to the legislator, the Dean of University of Ghana Law School has no reason to make such pronouncement. Addressing the press, Mr. Hammond iterated that the rising concern of coups in this country is getting out of hand.
I don't know Atukuba very well, but I hear he's a professor of law. He's at the University of Ghana, I'm told. Yes, I don't know how old he is. I am not so sure how old he was during 1979 and thereafter. I don't know. And of course, I've asked how old he is now. A lot of people seem to be talking about coup d'etat, coup d'etat, coup d'etat. Whatever the attraction in it, I'm not quite sure. What is it about? Essentially, these are all supporters of the NDC. When, after the constitutional dispensation was introduced after PNDC, we had a Rawlings government. The MPP was not entirely happy with everything that NDC regime did. Nobody called for coup. Professor Mills, we were in this country. We were all very happy with everything that the NDC did. We called for intervention of the military. John Mahama administration. Don't you guys know what happened? Was everybody happy with everything that they did? Why is it that in the course of MPP administration, every opportunity that they get, the NDCs, not all of them to be fair, but the irresponsible ones are calling for the intervention of the military? What is it about the military? Let me tell Professor Atukuba, he doesn't have the liberty to take leave of his brains. He does not have the liberty to take leave even of half his brains. This is a professor of law. That is precisely the reason why I make this statement. He owes it to his students, and he owes it the Constitution that everybody, including him. I mean, for the likes of Bong, whatever, those people who have been arrested, I don't have my time for them because I can pardon their ignorance. Atukuba has no reason to say the kind of things that he has said, because as you rightly say, he is a professor and of no other thing but of law. He understands the Constitution. This is the Constitution that is made it very clear. Anybody who attempts to subvert it commits the offense that he knows. He goes to make a statement like this, and you were attempting to explain it to me that he says may. What does that mean? May what? May happen. What? So what? I mean, invite the military. They know what they have to do. They are a professional institution. Their responsibility is to guard against the territorial integrity of this country. Period. They know it. They are not interested in dabbling in politics. The group before them have dabbled in politics. We are all the witnesses to what happened. They are not interested. The officers are professionals. The rank and file, they are professional. They know their duty. It is not the likes of Atukuba to invite them to hold the country to ransom. Listen, when we go for election, there are two options. You win, you lose. Clearly, he's an NDC sympathizer. Indeed, I do know that at a point in time, he worked with the office of the president. He's an NDC sympathizer. No problem at all with that. But what it is that the Constitution allows for the people of Ghana to speak at periodic times. The last one was 2020. We had the election. 4 more years, we spent almost 1.5 or so. Thereafter, we go for election. If the people do not like the MPP administration because they feel that we messed up, they don't like the whatever, it is for the people of the country to pass their judgment. It is not for the person who thinks he knows the law and who thinks he has studied the law to go about and bandy foolishness like that around.
Heritage Month is here, and teaching and learning about Ghana is the focal point. We sought to find out from some Ghanaians how much history they have on the Ghana national flag and what it means to them, and quite a number of them were able to give an explanation to the flag, its colors, and what they stand for. Rahel Kwashi has the rest of the story.
The Ghana flag was adopted upon independence of the Dominion on March 6, 1957. It was designed the same year by Theodosia Oko a renowned Ghanaian artist. The flag was flown until 1959 and then reinstated in 1966. The Ghana flag symbolizes and represents a given nation. It is flown by the government of the nation and its citizens. As part of activities to mark the Heritage Month in the month of March, the news team had some interaction with a section of Ghanaians with the aim of attesting to the historical attitude of Ghanaians in the areas of our history on all aspects of the country. When asked to design the Ghana flag and its colors, this was what they had to say.
I'd like to ask you, who designed the Ghana flag?
Okay, my name is Anastasia Jr. Madam Tudoshia Uko. Yeah, she's the one who designed the Ghana flag.
Please, can you tell us something about the Ghana flag, the colors? What does it stand for?
The red means our forefather fought for us. Yes, and then the gold also means unity, and the green also means forest, and then the blacks makes us Ghanaian or Africa. Yeah.
So to you, what does the flag means to you?
Oh, flag. The flag makes me as a Ghanaian. Yes. So as for flag presents us as a Ghanaian. That's what I know.
Please, your name again.
I can and text Junior.
Thanks for your
Oh, you're always welcome.
From Adoa TV. Please, your name.
My name is Mr. Dazi. Okay. I'm a retired officer.
Please, I want you to tell us a brief about the Ghana flag. Who designed the Ghana flag?
The person who designed the Ghana flag, I forget her name. But the Ghana flag, the red represents blood, the yellow is our money, and the green is our land.
So you as a Ghanaian, what does the Ghana flag mean to you?
I value Ghana flag. Because anytime I see a Ghana flag, I'm happy. The greatest treasure that I have is the Ghana. I'm a Ghanaian. I love Ghana, and I love Ghana. I will continue loving Ghana.
James.
Pacho, area where I win like a person who did come for Ghana flag. Okay. Na person be so say Ghana flag no. Why a designing Ghana flag?
I think it's Chudoroko.
Pacho na ubet me actually colors na Ghana flag no stand for.
The red stand for the bloodshed by our forefathers. The green stand for the forest, the green vegetation of the country, and the yellow stands for the mineral resources that we have in the country.
So what Ghana say? What does the flag, Ghana flag, it means to you?
Oh, it means a lot of things to me as a youth and as a citizen of the country. Anytime I see it, when even Ghana is playing a match and I see our flag, it motivates me in a kind of, do you understand? So the flag means a lot of things to me as long as I'm a Ghanaian and a citizen of Ghana.
Now, if you are person who kasa efa Ghana flag, now person bisa we say Ghana flag, why a design?
Okay, Theodora Oko.
But now wait me actually where the colors ne woman they stand for.
Okay, so red not standing for the blood which was shed on our behalf, and then the yellow is for the gold that we have, and then the green is for the vegetations, and then the black stand for the hope of the nation.
Okay. So you as a Ghanaian, what does the Ghana flag mean to you?
Okay, it's like the heritage of my culture because it has the colors and then the meanings in it. Yeah, that's what I can say.
Times. An irrigation farmer in the Central Gunja district in the Savannah region has lauded the Central Gunja District Assembly for their support in terms of irrigation after a passionate appeal on Adoa News. He made this known when Adoa News visited him on his farms. In an exclusive interview with Mr. Abdul Wahid, manager for one of the farm, he said the soil texture wasn't favorable and he needed support in plowing it, and the assembly, with the help of the Adoa News broadcast, came through with an irrigation machine to help him and his colleagues.
Mr. Abdul Wahid, an irrigation farmer in the Savannah region, has lauded the Central Gonja District Assembly for their support in terms of irrigation after a passionate appeal on Adoa News. He made this known when Adoa News visited him on his farm. In an exclusive interview with Mr. Abdul Wahid, manager of the farm, he said the soil texture at the time was unfavorable and he needed support in plowing it, and the assembly, with the help of Adoa News' broadcast, came through with an irrigation machine to help he and his colleagues.
The soil in particular is very difficult to cultivate. It's very heavy. And then secondly, I was facing a problem like how to get the water onto the field. That is a pumping machine. I was just using a small pumping machine, and then God be so grateful. The former Honorable Mustafa, on the 18th of last year, he handed over this heavy machine together with the sprinklers for me. And then actually, I can see that when I got those items, I think there is now improvement, a little improvement, because I was only supplying the community with local vegetables like ayoyo and then bra. But once I got this, I've increased the production into exotic vegetables like cabbage and then lettuce. And as I'm talking, evidently you can have a look at the cabbage onto the field currently. So with the help of that pumping machine, I think I am expanding now. But my problem currently is how to get materials like manure and other waste like the sawdust and then the granite husk. With those material, when you mix those material together with the clay soil, it changes the soil to clay loam or maybe loam soil in a way. And that way it will be suitable for vegetable production.
Speaking to some of the beneficiaries who work under Mr. Abdul Wahid, they said,
I've also been a beneficiary of this particular activity. I just completed, we graduated last year, a president of University of Education in Winneba. I'm done with my service as it stands now. They have not opened the portals for us to also apply. So this is where I'm also carry out my activity just to make ends meet with the government, to make agricultural very sexy in the sense that it will be attractive to we the youth, because youth of nowadays are interested in white collar jobs. But I tell you, if government
next is business and fuel prices have broken the 8. We'll bring you detail of that and some others. Do stay with us.
City is a manufacturer and supplier of high-quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel pins, ladies' brooches, fabric necklaces, African wares, and so much more for your weddings, schools, institutions, bands, choir, singing groups, individuals, and so many more. We use both African prints and foreign fabrics to make your beautiful accessories for you. Oh yeah! Contact us via call or WhatsApp or SMS on 0240 926 564. Locate us at Odoko Official Town opposite Emils Preparatory School. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Blue City Fashion. Blue City, creativity and style.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with Rwandair today. Rwandair, the safest airline in Africa.
Rwandair, fly the dream of Africa.
Back to the business segment. Now, fuel prices at some pumps have crossed the 8 Ghana cedi per litre mark in the first week of March 2022. The price has shot up to 8.290 Ghana cedis. This is expected to have a ripple effect on other oil marketing companies, which will also adjust their prices upward. 2 weeks ago, fuel prices averaged 6.4 Ghana cedi per litre as the price stabilization and recovery levy was reinstated by the National Petroleum Authority. Meanwhile, the Institute for Energy Security has predicted a 4% increase in the price of liquefied petroleum gas (LPG) and other petroleum products in the first price window in March. A barrel of Brent crude oil, which was going for about $66 a year ago and $78 at the start of 2022, jumped 7.3% to $103.9 a barrel in February. This comes after Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered the invasion of Ukraine. The price hike is expected to compound the suffering of the ordinary Ghanaian. The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana (COPEC) has predicted that fuel will sell at 9 Ghana cedis per litre by the close of March this year. According to COPEC, the unprecedented hike in the prices of fuel is partly due to the depreciation of the cedi and Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which is affecting international market prices. His comments come after an increase in fuel prices at some pumps from 7.99 Ghana cedis to 8.29 Ghana cedis.
Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana (COPEC) has predicted that fuel will sell at 9 Ghana cedis per litre by the close of March this year. According to COPEC, the unprecedented hikes in the prices of fuel is partly due to the depreciation of the cedi and Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which is affecting the international market prices. In an interview with the Executive Secretary of COPEC, Duncan Amwa, he said The current prices at the pump is actually on the downside. He said, and I quote, "What the situation in Ukraine will mean that international market prices would continue to surge. Again, we'll also have the situation where the city is not doing so well. I foresee the Ghanaian fuel prices crossing the 9 Ghana cedi mark before the end of the month." Unquote. Only 2 weeks ago, fuel prices averaged about 6 Ghana cedis, 40 pesos per litre, as the price stabilization and recovery levy was reinstated by the National Petroleum Authority. The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana Executive Secretary Duncan Amwa said he had expected the increase to be much higher.
That's it for business. We'll be back shortly with sports. Now it's time for sports. Defending champions of the MTN FA Cup, Hearts of Oak, will welcome Elmina Sharks to the Accra Sports Stadium in the next round of the competition in an all-Premier League clash. Sharks beat Achiken FC in the previous round to advance in the tournament, while Hearts saw off the challenge from Division 1 league side Golden Kicks with a massive 14 points behind Asante Kotoko after 18 games played in the Ghana Premier League, and the FA Cup looks to be the only realistic means of winning a title in this campaign. In other fixtures in the Southern Zone, Dreams have a date with Lagos Cities, while Sky FC will also come up against Hearts of Oak. Premier League side Bechem United have been paired with Kumawuman United, with Adriana Stars also taking on Brekum Chelsea. The fixtures will be played on the weekend of Friday 25th to Sunday 27th March 2022. For sports, you can find more stories on our website www.adoanewsonline.com. But before we go, these are the top stories for tonight. After the University Teachers Association called off their interim strike action, some campuses are still empty. We paid a visit to the University of Development Studies in Tamale, and the situation was no different. Now, Dr. Lawrence Tete has advised Ghanaian students in Ukraine to desist from using the ongoing Ukraine-Russia crisis as means to enter Europe. And on the religious front, today, Wednesday, 2nd March 2022, marks this year's Ash Wednesday, a very significant day in the lives of Christians as the period of Lent approaches. And in business, COPEC is projecting that fuel prices may surge up to 9 cedis per litre before the end of this month. And this all time will allow us to give you on the news bulletin at 6 p.m. I am Anastasia Baddoo. We stream live on Facebook, Adoa TV Ghana, YouTube, Adoa TV GH. Don't forget we are still in the Heritage Month. We had a